No. Fucking TKL. TKL trying to rob Gabe of $100 over here. No. Gabe does not have to pay because the community delivered. All right, guys. Here we go. Big shout out to everyone who's obviously been supporting the Monday Night Weeklies in the past, today, or in the future. We appreciate you. Tokamak, best of 1. You missed prediction. It was literally running for 10 minutes, mate.
Let's get it on.
A 10-minute prediction for a best of 1. And the moment it ends, someone's like, hey, I missed the prediction. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but that's 10 minutes, amigo. This is a pretty serious amount of time. Bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who just keeps on getting away with it. No lair tech, hatchery tech, roaches, lynx, banelings, ravages, whatever. Whatever he does, he seems to make it work. Representing Falcons, it is Solar. Top right side, we are looking at the main base of our Italian stallion, who sent me a couple of DMs earlier. He wasn't too happy about the fact that these ZVZs did not go his way. But perhaps we can turn things around there in the best of 1. It is Reynor. The reason why there was a bit of a delay is probably because he needed some time to recover from that absolute marathon game that he just had against Classic. And I would say that's very understandably. I think Tokamak is not the greatest map for that kind of stuff, though. I feel like if I was a Zerg player on Tokamak, I'd be a little more inclined to tech up. I wouldn't be Omega afraid. Obviously, you're going to have to scout. You're going to have to be on top of everything. But I think that those pushes are a lot scarier on Pylon, on Torches, on Persephone than they are on Tokamak. ZVZ is stable. I feel like it's the complete opposite, mate. How is ZVZ stable? Literally everyone is shaking in their fucking boots when it comes to clicking that lair tech button. So, no, I don't think ZVZ is that stable at all. I feel ZVZ is as crazy and as unpredictable and as wild as it's ever been. If you're just talking about crazy amounts of like Lings and Banes early on and those kind of all-ins, you can still do it. Like, nothing has really changed in that regard. It's just that players got better in sniffing it out and players got better in reacting it. And when the skill level goes up, the low skill builds go down in efficiency. That's not bad game design, or that's not a bad meta. That's just the way that it works. Players are better in dealing with some of the nonsense, but then there is other nonsense that becomes more difficult to deal with. Both of our guys have fired up Zergling speeds, so far everything is very standard. Falcons Solar is going to take the triangle, as Reynor is going to expand in a horizontal manner. So Reynor is maybe leaning a little bit more towards defensive play, as Solar is already showing us that there is a chance he wants to be aggressive. I feel like we've had a decent amount of a lot of early game ZVZ all-ins lately. If you think back of, I don't know if you watched the Stara Zagora tournament, mate, but Lambo had a lot of very clever, weird builds against Serral over in Bulgaria, and he made it mega close. He got maps, and he got very close to even taking the series. So, if you want that kind of ZVZ, mate, very weird, different stuff, very committed, take a look at Lambo against Serral in Stara Zagora, and I think that's everything that you're asking for. The peak ZVZ meta was 2-3 weeks ago, where everybody was spine crawler rushing. 12 pool with the drones and the spine is still a thing, but I don't think that's the thing on this map. Tokamak is not a good map for that. Overall, maybe the build is not that good, but it's just... it's one of these all-ins that if your opponent messes up just a smidge, you can punish them and you can probably get a very easy and quick W. But when it comes to all of those crazy risky builds, it's obviously not really up to you. It's more up to the defender. And that's the way that the game should be. Because if we have an all-in that literally always works, if you just do it right and everybody does it, then we have a terrible meta. Dark honestly wasn't that crazy in ZVZ. If I think of Dark, mate, I think of the most solid ZVZ player out of Korea. Dark was by far and away the best Korean Zerg when it comes to Viper play. And it wasn't close between Dark and Rogue, and it wasn't close between Dark and Solar. Solar obviously very good in like hatchery stuff and lair tech to some degree. Rogue, I'd say an excellent lair tech Zerg, but Dark was by far and away the best hive tech Zerg. Who is leading? Well, nothing has happened yet, so nobody's really leading. But Solar has flipped the script. After going for hatchery after hatchery after hatchery tech all in, this time he does fire up a somewhat early lair. They have both made a few safety roaches, but not too many. Reynor has faked a move out, but Solar has not been very intimidated by it at all. I agree, Kurmisaga. Dark really was like a European Zerg in that regard. He was willing to be behind, but just go towards Viper Lurker and be really good at it. He was way better at it than the other Korean Zergs. Thank you, Bami Balmatey, for 52 months. Very quick, Spire on the side of Solar after his lair finished up. Reynor, his lair is like 80% done. In a perfect world for Reynor, he obviously spots that Spire before it's even done. This is already a good scout, by the way, with the Zerglings here of Reynor. As Reynor sees this extractor being taken, this extractor being taken. He hasn't been in a natural in a while, but he may suspect that those gases have been taken. It's getting Overlord speed. Winner of this best of one will move on to play the lower bracket finals against Max Packs. Reynor still just building drones at this point. He was a little bit behind. Solar overall has just been a tiny bit greedier. He's a man who has been winning a lot of ZVZ, so he's probably oozing of confidence. Reynor gets a Dropaloid, but it's honestly a little bit late. We have a Bailing Nest, so he could technically go for like a Roach drop and a Bailing drop at the same time. Something that Serral did over in Star of Zagora. But first Mudas guy is already on the way, and Reynor hasn't scouted the Spire yet. He does have an Overseer flying into the main base now. This is the first time he sees it. 7 Mudas halfway done. Well, good luck, Reynor. It was sweetness. Everything in the lower bracket is best of one, all the way to the final. The lower bracket is just for, obviously, like for A, good players to have some upset victories and have a deep run. And B, for casual players to have a little more to look forward to, rather than one best of 3 in the upper bracket against a far superior player. And that is the end of your run. But everything in the lower bracket is best of 1. Upper bracket is best of 3. Lower bracket always best of 1. Hello, Patches. Thank you, matey, for the 9 months. I don't know if the council has anything to say these days. I'm sure they have something to say, but I don't know if there's anybody that's listening. Solar's got 32 roaches behind these Mudas. So this is a little bit like the old school Reynor tactic, where you go for a quick Spire, you make a couple Mudas, you hope your opponent builds a lot of Spore Crawlers, invest in Hydras, but then you show up as a maxed out Zerg with a lot of roaches and a lot of Ravagers. Reynor is the one who has used this tactic quite a few times in the past to get the best of Serral. That should also mean that he's very familiar with this. But Reddit will save the game. Reddit can't even save themselves, mate. What do we have in the main? We have a little 4 roach drop. We're gonna start working on the queen first, and then we can obviously turn around and gun down a few drones. Honestly, it's not looking bad for Reynor. The Mudas are not very impactful. The roaches are finding more than the Mudas have been able to find. Reynor also seems to think he can dive on his army in the center of the map, and I don't think he's wrong. The game looks mega for Reynor, no? Reynor is going to have slightly quicker access to +2 as well, as he does eat a couple of corrosive balls to the face, but sexy multitasking coming out of our Italian stallion. Feels to me that this game would have gone better for Solar if he would have just continued building Mudas. But since he only made a few Mudas and then obviously tried to surprise Reynor with a maxed out Roach Ravager army, don't think he can get much done. And the Mudas will obviously start falling off as well. Solar now setting up some multi-prong as he shows over the tiny army over here and a bigger army over at the 4th base. Can Reynor properly split up his units? That is poor multitasking by Reynor. Something that we very, very rarely say, but he did eat all of those corrosive balls. Clearly a little more focused on that fight in the top left than he was on defending the 4th. Means he ends up losing the 4th base. In the end, it's maybe a bit of a watch. Very rarely will you see that. Reynor just reacting a little bit slow, and he even has ping advantage. So we can't even say that that was ping. Because this game is being played on Central after Reynor won the coin toss. Now Solar could actually be in a bit of trouble. All of his Ravages are Omega exposed. Reynor jumps on top of them. Oh no, Solar. That was the wrong way home, my friend. He should have maybe gone towards the right side down that ramp. Trying to go towards the left. Gets surrounded instead. Loses everything. Massive victory for Reynor. Probably the biggest one of the game so far. Did lose that hatchery, but like losing a hatch is bad. But if that's all there is to it, and you're maxed out and you're doing fine in upgrades, it shouldn't be that catastrophic. Now once we're playing Hive though, and we basically want to continue to be defensive, maybe it's bad. Reynor sets up another surround. He's going to try to block maybe the retreat path here with a couple of units. Spam some corrosive balls. Solar clicks his army into Reynor's units on the right side. Very ambitious, as I think he is outnumbered. Not a little victory for Reynor. Solar has now lost almost 4,000 resources more. Misago says Solar is dead. I think that's a little early, but it does really feel that Solar is on the clock. Reynor has Hive Tech on the way, Reynor has a Lurker Den on the way, and Solar is just not known for his ability to be a great Lurker player in ZVZ. He basically never gets there. He's DJ Khaled in that regard, as he's suffering from success. He always wins his games before. Reynor sets up the trap with a bunch of burrowed roaches. Solar splits up his army, but Reynor knows about this because he's got vision. And Reynor's gonna on-burrow behind the army of Solar. What a move by Reynor. Oh my goodness, some sexy ZVZ being brought out here in the lower bracket. Best of one. Again gets on top of all the Ravages. And you gotta love what Reynor is showing us over here as GG gets called. Oh my goodness, that's good. That's fucking good. Well done, Reynor. Well done. And he does not die against a hatchery tech all in. He shows us that he still has the moves in ZVZ. That was beautiful. And that means that we are down to the final 3 in this Monday night weekly. A best of 1 between Reynor and MaxPax. Ay, ay, ay. Curious what you guys will be voting for there. That was really good burrow play. Lol, what has happened to the font? I've never seen this. Looks so weird. No, this is not how it's supposed to look. Did Twitch just get an update? Is that why you guys were struggling? We got a font update? Alright. Reynor versus MaxPax. Best of 1 LB final.